Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. We went through Laboratory 13, or Laboratory 12, rather. And here we are. We have grabbed Raymond. Let's get some of these unanswered questions answered. The team hustles Raymond onto a subway car, quietly taking up defensive positions and scoping the platform for signs of pursuit. The old man is unsteady on his feet, but he insists on standing under his own power. He grabs a railing and holds on with white knuckles as the train lurches forward. A group of tourists sit nearby, conspicuously avoiding eye contact with any of you. That's very smart, and looks like the entire crew is here as well. Your crew looks over the old man with the bandage on the back of his head, exchanging meaningful expressions. Raymond squints at the odd group surrounding him, but his nod indicates that he understands he's among friends. Wu drags his goggles off of his head, bending his knees to get a better look at his foster father. A tangled knot of relief, compassion, resentment, and hurt churns across the younger man's face as he wrestles with his confused emotions. Fear for his father's health overcomes them all. Raymond? Raymond turns his head toward Wu's voice. His eyes are cloudy, but there's reassurance in his tone. Duncan, I'm all right. I'm still me. He fights to focus. Are we in a subway? Wu exhales big. Yeah, we're in a subway. You're safe. He drags his attention away from the old man and looks at you. What happened? Is he okay? We got to him in time. He's just exhausted. I fought against the reprogramming. The old man's voice is a little more than a soft croak. His eyes are sunken and surrounded by dark circles. Yeah, he does not look good. His mother's medical technology must be amazing. It's hard to believe he's walking under his own power so soon after the surgery. Yeah, well, Grandma's an amazing woman. Her high-tech brain surgery, her ownership of the cops, her execution of my partner and those runners. Wu's face hardened and stands up straight, glaring down at the older man. Oh, and the way she had the plastic-faced man snatch her own son. Amazing woman. Easy, Duncan. Don't easy Duncan me, Caleb. That was Carter's thing. Find something else to say when you think I'm on edge. Pain and bitterness drip from Wu's deep, raspy voice. This man, whoever he is, has a lot of explaining to do. Are you ready to start telling us the truth, Edward? The old man tilts his head up to the orc towering above him, and although exhausted, his jaw sets firm. Yes, Duncan. I'm ready to tell you everything. I had planned to explain it all when you arrived in Hong Kong. Well, we're here now, Ray. You are here, and I am grateful for all you have done for me, all that you needed to do. It's more than just exhaustion. The words are challenging for him to speak. The old man leans back on the wall of the subway car and gathers his thoughts. He seems to swoon for a moment, but then inhales deeply, swallows hard, and pulls himself erect. My name is Edward Tsang. I am the only son of Josephine Tsang, the CEO of Tsang Mechanical Services, heir to the company. Before I left Hong Kong, I was the vice president of special projects, the up-and-coming star of the company. Was prosperity one of your special projects? Something you've never seen before washes over the tired old man's face. Shame. You've heard of it. Prosperity. I see. Raymond takes a breath and the labored croak of his voice drops to a monotone. I was part of a project my mother envisioned to rebuild Kowloon Walled City, a walking neighborhood for underprivileged citizens, fully integrated with job training programs, co-op childcare, drug counseling centers. It was a new approach to low-income housing in the East, the springboard to prosperity for hundreds of thousands. Yeah, that doesn't sound like the place I grew up in. Raymond is 20 years away, doesn't seem to hear her. Mother personally oversaw every aspect of the project to ensure that every detail was executed properly. Chose each project manager herself, chaired regular status meetings with architects, builders, visited the work site for surprise inspections. She was driven to make her renewed, revitalized walled city a success. So that was prosperity? Wait. So, well, she didn't do too well with that whole prosperity thing, did she?
Not true. Mother's planning was excellent, but the walled city wasn't a prosperity project.
Raymond covers his eyes with a liver-spotted hand, the dread radiating from him like the stink of decayed meat.
Prosperity was something I built, at the center of the walled city.
A moment later, an invisible grip takes hold of your chest, constricts it, squeezing the air from your lungs. Your vision grays from the edges and the world surges backward, leaving you suspended in the distance, on the periphery of reality. Something is hurtling towards you, approaching from the fringe of your mind like a bullet train. It screams ahead, closer and closer, until it's upon you, overwhelming you with its presence. And then, nothing. Silence. Until a scream pierces your consciousness, pulls you screaming to its source. You're back in the walled city, the city of darkness. Oh, this is not a time. Oh, it's Aku.
Lord of Destruction. Shape-shifting Master of Darkness.
So that must be the big baddie. Your mind wrenches, inverts, and then violently jerks back into your skull. Your stomach cramps hard and the taste of bile burns your throat. A thin trickle of cold sweat slides down the small of your back and your eyes refuse to focus. Your crew fares no better. Gobbet pulls herself from the floor, madness and folly squeaking worldly in the folds of her clothing. Iso grips a railing, her back to the group, retching silently. Ractor leans against Koshi, his face ashen, staring at the ceiling. He blinks rapidly, processing. Gaichu stands perfectly still in the center of the car, hands at his side, his face impassive. Wu breathes deeply, his hands on his knees. That wasn't a dream. He shakes his head like a lion's mane and spits on the floor. That was something else. Gobbet's breathing is shallow. She's covered in a thin sheen of sweat. It was a vision. I saw some sort of machine inside the walled city. Iso turns, squinting in concentration. Her lips are white. It was churning something. It felt wrong. Impossible. I think it was ripping. I don't know. Reality. The orc girl shudders. It was ripping a hole in reality. Something is here, my friends. Something has arrived. I believe we have just fallen in over our heads. Wu straightens up, drawing the back of a wrist across his mouth. What the hell was that, Raymond? No answer. Wu spins to find Raymond cowering, his head in his hands, shuddering and weeping. Unfortunately, he's not dead.
She's here.
Place a hand on his shoulder. Breathe, Raymond. Breathe.
Shouldn't have waited. Shouldn't have hid.
He looks up at you with bloodshot eyes.
She's here. The queen with 1,000 teeth.
Raymond rocks in place, hugging himself, staring past you at someone only he can see.
I left prosperity in there. I left prosperity in there. I left prosperity in there.
Uh-oh. Looks like Raymond's gone bye-bye.
Shh, Gobbet.
Iso whispers her admonishment. Gently squeeze his shoulder. Edward, can you hear me? The old man's brow furrows at the name.
Prefer Raymond.
Raymond blinks his eyes open. His voice is weak, hesitant, disconnected somehow.
Are we in the subway?
The right corner of his mouth twitches noticeably. Why is he stuttering? He's not. I used to stutter, and this doesn't sound like a stutter to me. Something else is going on. Could be the visions, could be the aborted brain surgery, or some combination of the two.
Something bad is happening. It began a long time ago. And I'm responsible.
His eyes open wide.
The queen. Prosperity.
What is prosperity, Raymond? Why is all this happening? Raymond turns his head towards you, trying to focus.
This is all because of me and my mother. Something we did a long time ago.
He puts a hand out and steadies himself on Wu's arm.
My fault. Prosperity. All those people. Those poor people.
When you worked on the walled city?
Yes. We rebuilt it in 2031. A new approach to...
He fidgets with his gauze bandage.
Low-income housing. I was in charge of a special project. An experimental project. One that would help countless people if we were successful.
Wu's tone gets a little sharper. We know. We already covered this, Raymond. Prosperity. Shame eclipses the old man's face.
You know about prosperity?
We're going around and around with him, aren't we? Yes, sort of. Wu's tone gets a little sharper. We've already covered this, Raymond. We know that it's in the center of the walled city and that Edward Sang built it. Let's see here. He says he preferred Raymond. Why don't you start at the beginning, Raymond? Tell us what this is all about.
The beginning. Sometime in the 20s. My mother was awarded
He searches for the word.
The contract. The contract to rebuild the housing development. The walled city.
Well, from the results, I'd say your mom kind of blew it. Prosperity failed. Frustration appears in the old man's tired eyes.
I told you, the walled city wasn't the prosperity project. Prosperity was the fortune engine I built at the center of the walled city. My special project.
A fortune engine? Fortune engine? What are you talking about? Wu sneers. You can't create fortune, Raymond. Yeah, you kinda can, Gunshow. Some practitioners of feng shui believe they can do it. Ever heard of the Bagua of the 8 aspirations? Wu looks at Gobbet flatly. No, Gobbet. I must have skipped school that day. Keep going, Gobbet. I want to hear this. Gobbet wrinkles her nose at Wu. It's Neo Feng Shui. The masters of the craft can map the flow of ki and how it corresponds to different aspects in someone's life. Fame, relationships, creativity, inner knowledge, health, and fortune. That's 6. I thought you said there were 8 aspects. The little orc shrugs. I don't remember the other 2, but one of them was definitely fortune. She looks sidelong at Raymond. What does your fortune engine do?
The fortune engine was designed to improve the balance of ki in a negative ki environment.
A negative ki environment? Somewhere dreck, like a slum. Raymond corrects her.
Like a low-income housing project. I believe that with the fortune engine, the rebuilt walled city might never become a slum.
He drifts off for a moment, remembering. Then he squeezes his eyes shut and lowers his head.
But the machine malfunctioned.
How do you know how to create magic machines, Ray? I thought you were an industrial engineer.
I am. I also have several advanced degrees. Doctorates in physics. Taoist alchemy.
The old man shrugged shakily.
My mother pushed me hard to reach my potential.
Wu stares at him blankly. A doctorate in magic. Great. Something else we didn't know about you. You guys can work through your family secrets later. Iso leans in and speaks gently to Raymond. How did the machine malfunction?
The mechanism I created to circulate negative ki in the walled city.
He brings a liver-spotted hand to his mouth.
It got stuck.
Stuck on what? Raymond rises slowly, pulling himself from his crumpled heap. His tone turns instructive. The old Raymond. But this time, his explanation is halting and weary.
Think of the fortune engine as a sort of propeller blade moving through astral space, circulating ki, keeping it,
he hunts for the word,
fresh. When ki flows, when the rhythm is right, the results are positive, fortuitous. When I brought my design for the fortune engine to my mother, she embraced it.
He exhales.
She more than embraced it. She bankrolled it. Put an entire division of Sang Mechanical under me to develop it.
Sounds like a big bet. Raymond nods rapidly.
The biggest of her career. Mother said that if the machine could bring fortune to the less fortunate, it would prove my theory.
And if it could help the poor, imagine what a fortune engine could do for Josephine Sang. Wu's jaw clenches. But that's not what happened, was it? Something went wrong. The people in the walled city didn't benefit from your fortune engine. Did they, Raymond? The old man bows his head and doesn't answer. Dad, what happened to your fortune engine? Raymond's response is barely audible.
It got stuck. The mechanism I created to circulate negative ki in the walled city got stuck.
You can see Wu's patience blowing away like an autumn leaves in a high wind. He rubs his head viciously in frustration. Stuck on what, Raymond? The old man gets a confused look on his face. His lips move soundlessly for several moments. Wu leans in close, drops to a whisper, seethes in his foster father's face. Stuck on what? Raymond winces at Wu's tone and stumbles back a step, but it does the job and the old man focuses.
Something in astral space. I wasn't sure what.
That sounds bad.
The machine started pulling negative ki.
The old man's breathing begins to accelerate.
And the walled city started to fill with it. Fortune turned bad.
I've been in places where the feng shui was really bad. That's not what I felt when I was in the walled city.
No, ki needs to flow. Eventually, the enormous pool of negative ki became toxic. Fortunes turned from bad to worse. Much worse.
Raymond's shoulders slump.
Mother's vision for a rebuilt, revitalized walled city fell to ruin. It only took a few years for the trapped toxic ki to turn a brand new housing development into a hellish slum.
Why didn't you turn it off?
I couldn't. Something happened. Part of the malfunction. We couldn't turn it off.
Then why didn't you blow it up? Wrap it up in C6 and turn it into a scrap heap?
Mother refused.
Wu's turns icy cold. Why?
I'd never found out. She wouldn't tell me. She would only say that it wasn't worth spending the additional resources to figure out how to fix it. Or even how to turn it off.
Word starts spilling out at the old man.
She sealed off the maintenance room. Our engineers poured a sarcophagus of thick concrete around it so no one would ever find it. Ever find out what we had done.
Then she wrote the project off as a business loss and moved on like nothing had ever happened. Right?
Yes.
His face flushes and he fidgets with the gauze bandage on his hand.
After that, I left Hong Kong. Started a new life in Seattle. Found Jutu.
You should have stayed. Try to do something about it. Wu grimaces disappointed. You were a coward, Raymond.
Yes.
Raymond stands up straight, takes a shaky step toward Wu.
Yes, Duncan. I was a coward. And the guilt, the burden of my cowardice gripped me like a vice that never loosened. It's eaten me from the inside for 20 years.
He licks his lips and tries to breathe.
And then the nightmares began. Horrible. Still, I kept working on the problem, night and day.
That's the work that kept you in your study until all hours of the morning.
It took me years, even after you left, to make the connections, find what to do. But I did. I figured it out. And still the nightmares intensified until they became unbearable. I knew I had to come back, fix what I had done. That's why I contacted you, to help me see it through.
Moo mumbles something, but all you can make out is the word coward. Wait, there's still a piece missing. What's causing the visions we're all having? Raymond's voice flattens.
When the machine malfunctioned, when the circulator became stuck in astral space, it lodged in another domain.
He sways and his lips begin to tremble.
And something lived there.
Probably the Yama Kings, I would imagine. Not good. The old man begins to drift.
After 20 years of constant force, the circulator began tearing astral space, created a rupture in her domain.
He begins rocking in place.
And now she's pushing through. And now she's pushing through. And now she's pushing through.
Yeah, she's pushing through all right. Wu snarls at his foster father. The queen with 1,000 fracking teeth. A thing you brought here, Raymond. Raymond stops his rocking, becomes fully lucid. He snaps back at Wu.
I understand that, Mr. Wu. That's why I came back. I believe she is only partially here. She hasn't pushed all the way through yet. She's probing her new hunting ground.
The emotional strain now of his snap at Wu rattles him again.
I know what to do now. How to extract the circulator. Shut the machine down before she can fully manifest. Just get me to the center of the walled city, to the fortune engine. I will do the rest. Please, help me. Help them.
Well... yeah, I like this one. You helped us overcome some hairy mistakes when we were kids, Ray. Now we get to help you fix yours. Yeah, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can go back in there. The little Decker's eyes open wide, more white than iris. Her breathing becomes faster, shallower. It's not just a thing in there, Shan. It's a Yama King. A demon goddess. We're traptees. We can't run. And believe me, I want to. It's all I've been thinking of. The rat shaman's shoulders rise with tension. But the APB is still out on us and those visions. I got a feeling they're not going to stop unless we make them stop. And that fragile old man's the only way to do it. She looks down at her friend, and her voice is gentle. We've got to take him in there, Ease. We've got to help him fix this. I, for one, wish to see this fortune engine. I am intrigued. Pactor's pale eyes glint. I willingly go. I bet he does. Gaichu's face remains impassive, but his eyelids lower in anticipation.
I have the opportunity to kill a god. I can't allow the opportunity to pass unanswered.
That's the spirit. Wu's voice drops to a mumble. I hate this fracking country. I hate this life. Caleb's right. We owe you, Raymond, and I'm not walking away from that. I'll help you fix your mess or die trying. Then we'll be even. He stares evenly at Raymond, his voice cold. I'm no coward. Well, that was a nice family reunion, wasn't it? Fear grips the people streaming from inside the walled city. The storm isn't a typhoon. It's something else. Hell's bells. There is blood everywhere. Club 88? What the heck, man? Talk to the Triad soldiers. Okay. There is bad stuff going on here. What has happened to my town? There's 10 armed Ambrose and reliable Matthew. Matthew seems folded in on himself. He has a shell-shocked look. His head hangs forward, and he doesn't appear to see anyone, including you, despite the brilliant, toothy smile plastered across his face. You doing okay there? Huh? What, beautiful? Oh yeah, doing good. Great. Real good. Real... His voice trails off. He looks across the room at two old men leaned up against the wall sharing a bottle of whiskey. I wonder if I can get some of that. Slap Matthew. Snap out of it. Ha! He screams in surprise. It's a weird amalgam of terror and gusto. Then he immediately goes back to his eerie, cheerful obliviousness. A red welt spreads across his face. The slap does not appear to have snapped him out of anything. Yee, that's not good. Ambrose, how you doing? Chrome Alley is crowded with Heoi residents, crushed into a bunker-like space. People you know, clutching their heads, crying, some bloody. Shan, I can't talk. I've got a whole bunch of... Ambrose falls silent and stares at you. For hell, Shan, you look like you've been through a train wreck. You need anything? Yeah, get out of there and do something. I can't even drink. I've got so many people coming apart at the seams. He nods to a couple of old men leaning against the south wall, handing a bottle of rice whiskey back and forth. Denshi and JP are self-medicating on my behalf. Actually, there's something specific you can do too. Get Maximum Law off the street. I mean, dox or whatever, or at least arm his ass. You got anything to arm him with? Me? Hell, I need everything I've got to watch the door. Ambrose looks around the clinic. Well, actually, I've got Matthew's drones in here, and the death machine up in the ceiling. I guess I can do something for the law. A Waldo arm swings over and reaches under Ambrose's chair. With a clack, it pulls out something black and metallic. An Uzi 3. Laser sights, folding stock, dripping a sling, and cloth ammunition pouches. This is Raquel. She's got 2 spare mags in the pouches. Tell him not to shoot his foot off. Ambrose? What's with the crappy gun? What? Uzi 3 is a solid gun once you rebuild it. I mean, if it's stock, it's a piece of crud, but that's because they stamp them out like cupcakes. But Raquel here, she's a princess. Ambrose braces himself as if getting ready to sign away his soul. Go give Law my little princess. You got it. Alright, I got no more time for this. Ambrose fidgets and stares around the clinic. His eyes are wide. Go do your thing. I've got to do mine. Oh, I need medical supplies. What do I have equipped on me? Okay, I still have plenty of medkits. Good. Also got some karma. I think I heard the karma sound. Don't need any cyber. I think show me your supply cabinet. Same thing. Okay. Godspeed, Shan. If you can do something to stop my neighborhood going to hell, that'd be rock solid. I hear that. Well, let's explore the rest of Heoi here, because everything is going... Pear-shaped is not the term. I bet everyone else is in Club 88. Okay, here's Frederick and everyone. Frederick looks desperate, intense, ready to erupt into violence at the slightest provocation. We gotta get through this, whatever it is. He turns away, resuming his vigilance. Hey, he decided to stay. That's good. Callum. Callum is obviously drunk. You need some drugs? Things are crazy outside our heads. Might as well be crazy inside your head, too. Yeah, no thanks, Callum. What about you, Henry? The world's going mad. I feel like my skull is coming apart. Not on my watch, Henry. Let's see how the, How are you doing, Ermine? Ermine's eyes are bleary. Blood from a recent nosebleed speckles her upper lip. Shan, you need ammunition, painkillers? She nods toward her son. For painkillers, talk to Callum. Thanks, I'm good. Hey, looked like the family decided to stay. That's good. I may not have gotten any karma off of it, but... I'll call that a win. Didn't look like anyone else was there, either. Okay, there's Maximum Law. I guess he just doesn't want to... He doesn't want to leave his boat. Doesn't want to leave the Techno Palace. Maximum Law stands out in the rain, arms folded across his chest. His normal air of bravado and jitteriness is blown away like cobwebs. He exudes the aura of a granite block, or an anchor, abandoned by its ship and about to be overwhelmed by the ocean. Shan! Sup? Shouldn't you bunker up? No! I'm sick of people asking. He juts his lower jaw. His VR goggles appear to be about to give up the ghost, but his feet are firmly planted. I'm not going anywhere.
This is my boat and my barge and my techno palace. I'm staying. Maximum Law don't rabbit, yo. He is here to stay. He raises his clenched fist and displays his fingers dramatically. Boom.
Are you armed, Law? Ambrose wants to be sure you are if you're staying out here.
What? No, I always just rely on the neighborhood for protection.
He looks around anxiously.
Drek, I guess I can't rely on nothing now.
Well, I'm not using firearms, so... Here, this is Raquel. Ambrose sent it.
Whoa, thanks, Shan.
Law takes the submachine gun reverently from you. You know how that works?
I've seen it a ton of times in Matrix games.
Don't shoot your foot off.
No worries, man.
Law grips the sling and casually flings Raquel over his shoulder.
I got things covered.
Keep your head on a swivel.
Yo, you too.
Well, I hope we didn't just doom anything by giving Law a gun. What about Spider? What about our monk vendor? I think she's in good shape. We don't have to worry much about her. Get to go talk to everyone now. Shan is packing everything up into a series of crates. There's a sense of urgency around the monk, though you do get a nod as you approach. You want anything, you best make it quick. After all the Drek's been going down, I'm clearing out till things settle down. Okay, this is our last chance to get something, guys. And I do not think that we have anything that we can possibly get. Unless we can't go to Close Combat 8, though. I don't think. Can we sell some items? Do we have anything to sell? Yeah, we can sell that. We can sell that. We can sell that. Sell that. Definitely want to keep the everything else, though. Okay. I'll give us over 5,000, almost 6,000 new yen. Give me 1 second. I gotta see. Spend karma. Yeah, we're not gonna have enough here. We really aren't. So, close combat of 7. We'll confirm that. But we need 8. Unfortunately. And we just do not have the... Yeah, we'd have to get our strength up, and it's not happening. So that's unfortunate. But it's okay. We're doing decent damage just with those thing of brass knuckles. Now, we gotta check on Crafty. We gotta go to the bolt hole. We got a lot of stuff before we go talk to Raymond. Okay, the Go players are not there anymore. Maybe they're in the parlor. Nope. Oh. Okay, I don't think Crafty knows what's going on outside. Fair enough. That's unfortunate. Oh, we also got to go check Kindly Chang. See what she's up to. Okay, Matthew isn't there. I'm really surprised Matthew left all of his drones. Thought he would have all of his drones. Oh wait, he had all of his drones in the at Ambrose's, didn't he? Oh, we can't even go in there to talk to Kindly. Wow. All right. Well, let's go ahead and check the bolt hole real quick. The safe boat. That's anything but. Check the computer. I really doubt there'll be anything, but you never know. 0 unread messages, indeed. Anything on the BBS? Nope. Any pay data? No. Alrighty. Well, we're gonna check. We're gonna check everything. I don't want to miss a thing. Hey, Koshi. What are you doing? I feel actually kind of unsafe with Koshi just there, and me, and no Raptor to hold his leash. Nothing in there, nothing in there. Maybe I can grab some of Gobbet's ramen noodles while I'm here. Nope. Looks like everything else is pretty much done. And I guess we're about to head to the walled city, you guys. That should be fun. Let's talk to Raymond real quick. Because the Triad Guard, I think, is going to be our next person to talk to after this, to lead us to the walled city. Raymond and Wu stand near each other in the rain, staring at the walled city, not talking. The old man looks at you, wary but alert.
You look like you have something on your mind, Shan.
Are you going to be okay, Raymond?
I don't think so, no. I am the product of aborted brain surgery. That combined with all that has happened, I doubt that I will ever be okay. I have no idea when I will...
He searches the ground for the word.
Break.
Raymond touches the bandage on his head.
And although I'm relieved that you have rescued me before my memory was wiped, part of me grieves at the thought I could have been free from all of this.
I bet those people in the walled city wish they could be free from all of this too.
Indeed, but they are proof people can adapt to harsh circumstances. I will learn to live with this hardship like they have.
I think we're all learning a lot here. For example, Caleb and I learned that you're a genius who can create magical machines. We learned that you have a rich, powerful mother on the ruling council of Hong Kong who kidnapped you to reprogram your brain. And we learned that the two of you are responsible for the suffering of thousands. Pretty big score from my perspective. Did I get everything, Caleb? You left out that he's risking his life to try and fix it. That's just it. He can't fix it. He wheels on Raymond, closes the gap between them. You realize you can't fix it, right, Edward? You can't erase 20 years of misery and suffering. The best you can do is to remove the unnatural part of it. Allow that horrible slum to be horrible without toxic key, or whatever you said. You're not going to push the make it all better button. Do you have a better idea, Duncan? No. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to be like him. I'm not going to run. Raymond cringes at that. He screws his eyes shut, trying to ward it off. But then he's still for a moment and his jaw sets. And when he opens them again, his eyes are defiant, authoritative.
I did what I did to help people, Mr. Wu. And when I couldn't help them anymore, I left and I continued helping people in Seattle, in that teen center, in that slum I took you from. Or did you forget where you were from?
Oh, I didn't forget, little man. How could I, with you reminding us of every chance you got? How you saved a poor little Chinese boy. He lowers his head until it inches from the old man's, after you ran from the thousands who looked just like him.
My motivations for helping you aren't relative, Duncan.
He points a bony finger at Wu and runs it up and down the orc towering above him.
Look at you. The results are what counts.
Wu doesn't pull back. He leaves his face a hair's breadth from his foster father. I know, Edward. Your motivations for building that machine weren't relevant here either. Wu cocks a thumb at the walled city, at the throngs running from it in terror. The results are what counts. Oh. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. Both men recoil at that, mouths agape. They stare at one another, remembering a time years ago when they were similarly conflicted. The intent to reply. That thing with Lockjaw. Double Tray. Wu looks at you, remembering, and his tone softens dramatically. I just realized why you were always so on edge all those years ago. While you were raising us. Why you always seemed so... tortured. You've been carrying this around the whole time. The old man shakes his head, firm.
I have. But that guilt is nothing now. When I think of what the circulator, the rift,
Raymond's eyes open up big.
more of them could get in. More like her.
Do you think that can happen? More Yama Kings can make it through?
Yes. The possibility exists to remove the choke. The machine could be sent to override the circulator, turn the astral rift even wider, open the floodgates for more to enter. We can't let that happen.
No, Raymond. We can't. Wu looks the old man in the eye, his hostility replaced by firm resolve. We won't. Alright, well, that was we seem to get some common ground there at least. And it looks like we are heading into the Walled City in the next episode, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. My throat is a bit sore. But if you liked the video, go ahead and click like down below. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. That'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.